So I'm literally just going through my workday. All is fine. It's a nice sunny day out. I had a couple of canceled appointments and my motivations began to wane. It just wasn't where it normally is. I might have had a little bit too much coffee, but I was just ready to knock the day out and make some sales. And then out of nowhere, I just get this trigger. I just get this feeling like I really just want to disconnect, misconnect, miss the mark. Now, my history tells me over and over again, years of history, that every misconnection always ends with me feeling a certain way, disconnected. Disconnected from those that I love, disconnected from the God of my universe, disconnected from myself. So now here we are again with another trigger. Maybe this might be the 10,000th time. So what do I do now? Do I just let the old narrative play out again? Here comes a trigger. Let me go on Facebook and look at some things that I really should not be looking at. Let me let my mind just drift and not think about work. Or do I once again take a different path and gain a different result? Is it possible to still function when you're feeling triggered? I think it is. I know for me, the first thing that I must do when I'm feeling triggered is take a deep breath and acknowledge that it is a trigger. It doesn't matter where it's coming from. I must acknowledge that I'm being triggered. Triggered to misconnect, miss the mark. Triggered to take a mental lapse, a mental vacation, and go into a land where there's no life, no nutrients, just really imagery and death. I must acknowledge it first. Hey, Frank, this is a trigger. You can't control when they come. They're going to show up out of nowhere. Could be because of many different situations or circumstances, but triggers just show up like a bird landing on the picnic table in the backyard. They come out of nowhere. Acknowledge it. And then I must find a clear space to pray. Simply, God, I really want to engage this thought. I really want to walk down this very familiar path that always leads to the same familiar ends. And somehow in my mind, I want to convince myself that it's going to be different this time. But history proves that it is never different. It is the same bag of tricks. It is the same bitter ends. A pray. It doesn't have to be a long prayer, just acknowledging before the God of the universe, I am triggered. I want to engage this. But in this moment, I'm choosing to connect to you. I must also remember the pain of the very last act out. Whether that last act out was last year, last month, or last night. Acknowledge the pain. Remember the pain of it. Remember the feeling disconnected from my family, feeling out of sorts on the inside of my spirit, man. And now I have something that I can weigh this trigger by. I can weigh it on uh, a familiar response that always goes down a road to fantasy and leads to a certain death, or I can weigh it based on the death and say, even though this impulse is so strong, I'm not without help and I can do something different. Remember the pain is such a powerful principle. Now I must connect. I must find a real connection, a real human being. Yes, God is there. Yes, the trigger's there. I must find someone with skin on that I can connect with. A spouse, family member, co-worker, cousin, parent, friend. Make a connection. Leave your workspace. Whether you're working at home, go see your family member. If you're working in a brick and mortar, go talk to a customer and come out of your space of wellness, your space of kindness, and be very intentional about the connect. And then I must simply just get on with my day. Act as if that trigger is going to land way over there, far away from me. And by that time has lapsed. I'm further away from that trigger, and I'm finding a victory in that moment. Now, here's a very important point, and I must always remember this. During the time when the trigger hits and I get on with my day, I can't take one action toward that trigger, whether it's food, drugs, lust, gambling, whatever. Take no actions. Literally feel myself spinning out of sorts because everything in my flesh wants that hit. Deny it. You're not going to die. In fact, on the other side of that is life. And I am free to engage life and come up a little bit higher.